Everything is fine. You have a roof, you have people who care. You have enough. And yet, there's this feeling, not pain exactly, not sadness, just a hollow quiet, like something is missing, but you can't name what. If you've ever stood in the middle of a perfectly okay day and still felt strangely absent from your own life, this is for you. You scroll, you rest, you check off your list, and somewhere in the in-between, you catch yourself wondering, is this it? Not dramatically, not with tears, just a quiet, flat kind of wondering. Psychologists have a name for this space. It's not depression, it's not anxiety. It lives closer to what existential therapists call anhedonia, a reduced ability to feel pleasure, even from things that used to light you up. But here's what's deeper. For many people, especially those who are thoughtful, introspective, maybe even high-achieving, this emptiness isn't random. It's a signal. Your nervous system is speaking, and it's saying something essential is misaligned. Before we go further, you need to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are not ungrateful. You are not weak for feeling empty when life, by every external measure, looks full. In fact, the very fact that you notice the emptiness, that you feel it rather than numbing it or running from it, means something important is intact. Your inner life is still awake. Here's what's happening in the brain. Your brain has two core operating systems. The first is what neuroscientists call the default mode network. It activates when you're not doing anything specific, when you daydream, when you reflect, when you imagine. This is the part of you that asks why, and who am I, and what matters. The second system is your task-positive network. It activates when you're doing, producing, checking boxes. Modern life is engineered to keep this second system running constantly. Productivity, notifications, obligations. And here's the problem. When the doing brain runs non-stop, the being brain starves. The default mode network, the seat of meaning-making, of self-reflection, of genuine connection to what you value, goes quiet. And when it goes quiet long enough, you feel it. Not as noise, as absence, as emptiness. Cognitive scientist Matthew Lieberman calls this the brain's need for social and narrative coherence, a drive to make sense of your life as a story, not just a schedule. When we strip that away, the self starts to feel blurry. So how do you return to yourself? Not through hustle, not through a new habit tracker, through something quieter and more honest. Here are 5 principles, each grounded in how your brain actually works. Psychologist Carl Rogers observed that what you resist persists, and what you allow transforms. Sit with the feeling for 2 minutes. Don't escape it. Don't label it as wrong. Just say, "This is here." This act alone activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates emotion, and begins to dissolve the anxiety around the feeling. Psychologist James Pennebaker found that emotional suppression, living in ways that don't match our inner experience, is one of the most reliable predictors of chronic emptiness. Ask yourself, which parts of my day feel like mine? Which parts feel like a costume I wear for others? The gap between those two answers is the gap the emptiness lives in. Psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent decades studying what makes humans feel most alive. His answer, flow. Flow doesn't happen in comfort. It happens at the edge, where your skill meets a challenge that's just slightly too hard. Find one thing this week that requires effort, real effort, effortful enough to pull your full attention in. Neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent his career studying loneliness. His discovery, it wasn't the absence of people that hurt people most, it was the absence of felt connection. You can be surrounded by people and still feel unseen. Find one moment this week to be known, not impressive, just known. Deliberately do nothing. No podcast, no scroll, no productive walk, just boredom, just space. Neuroscience tells us that the default mode network activates most richly during unstructured rest. This is when the brain integrates experience, builds identity, and generates meaning. The emptiness sometimes is just hunger, and the food it needs is stillness. Here's the simple mental model to carry with you. Think of your inner life as a river. Modern life builds dams, obligations, noise, performance, distraction. The water still moves, but it doesn't flow. It pools, it stagnates, it goes flat. The emptiness you feel is the river trying to tell you, something is blocking me. Your work isn't to feel more. Your work is to remove the dam, one moment at a time. You don't need to fix the emptiness tonight. You don't need to figure out your purpose by morning. You just need to stay honest with yourself. The fact that you're here, searching, questioning, listening, means the most important part of you hasn't gone silent. It's waiting. The feeling of emptiness, in the end, is not a sign of lack. It is a sign of depth, of a self that knows the difference between existing and being alive. And that kind of self always finds its way back.